Hey YouTube, what goes on? Welcome to Disavowed Action Figures live at 7:05. And we are here on an uncharacteristic Monday evening. Usually the show's on Wednesday nights at 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week we pulled the trigger on an early Monday show. Kind of like the back half of the day today. Decided to go live today because I have a lot of filming to do for my top 10 videos. For top 10 Marvel Legends, top 10 G.I. Joe Classified, top 10 wrestling, and top 10 overall action figures of 2021. And I have to open a couple more figures that might be in contention for that top 10 list, for those lists in general. So decided to go one more live stream a little earlier in the week just so that I have the opportunity to open some of these figs that are probably maybe being considered for top 10. So I'm just going to slide this back for a moment here before we get to acknowledging who's here. And the other reason I went a little bit early was because of this being in hand. So this was delivered to me by a friend of the family, of the GF specifically, from Florida, who drove home to Pennsylvania for Christmas. And she and her husband were able to stop by the Marvel store at Disney Springs and pick that bad boy, that 3-pack X-Force pack up for me. So we'll be cracking that open tonight, as well as the Sting AEW Unmatched Luminaries figure, and today's possibly final acquisition of 2021, barring anything showing up randomly from pre-orders, Bret the Hitman Hart WWE Elite. So again, I'm going a little earlier this week on the live stream, having it on Monday to crack these open so I can start filming all the different top 10 videos tomorrow to deliver us throughout the week this week. So let's see who's in the house before we start cracking open Sting, Bret Hart, and the X-Force 3-pack. Okay, Figures in the house. What's going on, sir? How are you today? NJ Tree, good evening, sir. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing well down there in Jersey. Four Feathers is in the house. How you doing, Four Feathers? What's up, sir? Stan the man is here. Hey. I just saw your story about this and got the notification. Very cool, man. Thanks for getting here. Again, uncharacteristic Monday show, but I need to open a few more things so I can more accurately depict my top 10 videos, my top 10 lists, because some of these might end up in those top 10 lists, and I wanted to actually get them opened. Andre, what's going on? How you doing, sir? What is up? Hope you're doing okay out there on the West Coast. It's cold as hell here. NJ Tree says they had them. Yes, apparently they were just selling out very quickly, NJ Tree. After I'd spoken with you, my girlfriend's friend, Melissa, and her husband went by probably like maybe a week after NJ Tree. You were down there. Might have been a little less than a week when you were there. And they went to the Marvel store and they had stacks and stacks of them. But from what I've been hearing, they don't sit there long. They're limiting people to only picking up 2 per trip. I know there were signs I saw on Instagram and YouTube about that. However, they were able to grab one for me, and they drove it up here since they were coming home to visit family for the week anyway. So they happen to be watching. Shout out to Melissa and her husband for hooking me up with a 3-pack. I got lucky too. I actually ended up saving money on it because one of them is an employee of Disney, and they were able to get me a discount. And they picked it up at a discounted rate since they're an employee. So I actually made out pretty good on it. I was pretty happy. Took a little longer, but I got it in hand. Hey, Brian, what's going on, sir? How are you tonight? What is up? What is up? Okay, Figure says whole lot of 90s between Bret Hart and X-Force. Yeah, man. I really feel like Bret Hart might be a temporary member tonight when we crack this thing open in a little while there with the X-Force pack. So this will obviously be the last thing we open tonight. Not sure how long we'll be on tonight. We'll see how long it takes us. At least there's no AEW tonight. I'm not a big Raw guy, so we don't have to rush to conclusion here. But I also want to make sure I don't go super duper long. So we will be throwing those up here as we get them open. So today I went on a toy hunt, the first big box store hunt since the holiday, since Christmas, since all the stores were closed except for some Walgreens and things, which I did check, but there wasn't much there. So got to some Targets today. I had to cut the hunt short because there was an ice storm coming through. You might hear it in the background at some point tonight. It was coming down pretty loud earlier out there. The roads are pretty caked up. But I was in Target and they had Bret the Hitman Hart, as well as lots of new Masters of the Universe Origins and some other stacked figures, stacked shelves at Target. So that toy hunt will be out tomorrow night. I'll probably still get a toy hunt out Thursday anyway, even though I am filming the top 10 lists. So a lot of content coming from the channel this week. I'll try to stagger it as best I can. With doing 7:05 tonight, it basically means you might get a video each night this week. up until, Saturday or Sunday. So had to pick up the Hitman Hart. I saw him a few times before. The boxes were destroyed. Even though I'm opening him, I'm not going to buy a crappy box unless I'm forced to. So I'm really very selective with my WWE Elites. I mostly collect AEW, as you're aware. You'll see my top 10 list. There will be a WWE Elite and Ultimate presence in my top 10. Because the Elites I do buy, or the Ultimates I do buy, are figures I really, really want for whatever reason it might be. Be it the nostalgia factor, be it they're just a really cool looking ass figure, whatever it might be. So Bret Hart, checks a lot of those boxes for me. Also, I try to pick characters and wrestlers who were in both companies at some point in time and did have a big WCW presence, which you could definitely argue Bret Hart's wasn't the best presence in WCW, but obviously he did make that jump after the Montreal screw job. And I figured, you know what? He's there. I had a gift card from Christmas. I'm picking him up. Never picked up the Hogan. Definitely not getting Keith Lee or Bailey, although I do have the Hogan, I guess it's the Ultimate on pre-order that'll eventually come in. So before we crack this open, let's see who else came in the room. Hey, Midwest Toy Box. How you doing, man? What is up? We are cracking up some great things tonight. Scott says, love that Bret Hart figure. I am excited to crack this thing open for sure, Scott. RL, what's going on, man? What's up? How you doing, man? What is going on? Happy Monday as opposed to Wednesday. So let's take a look here at the back, and we rotate one of the lights. As you can see, he is obviously from Alberta, Canada. We all know he is from north of the border. Career highlights, of course, a litany of those. The excellence of execution, as he is well known as. And this is based off of his Survivor Series match with Stone Cold Steve Austin in Survivor Series 96, earning him the #1 contender spot. And again, there is the cross sell on the bottom there. And I just learned that word cross sell, so I try to use it now that's in my vocabulary. The cross sell with the other figures in the wave. And again, this is a Mattel product. Typical Elite packaging. These panels tend to kind of pull off. So if you're looking for these a lot of times, you'll notice these are kind of coming off to the sides. But yeah, excited to get this guy open. So again, not too worried about the box integrity. So I'm just going to tear this guy open here off camera. Again, I have kept a lot of boxes in the past, but I've learned with the Elite boxes that they don't always tend to hold up the best anyway. I just cut the bottom, so maybe I'll keep it. Let's see. But here is our Bret Hart coming out of the packaging in his plastic prison. This looks like it will stand by itself, which is always cool. I thought that the glasses were actually fastened to his head as part of the mold. Apparently, that's not the case, as I saw some out-of-box photos where the glasses do come off. You can see his other accessories. We get a multitude of hands, which is very cool. So we actually have 3 total sets of hands here with the 2 other sets in the plastic prison. And we get a pink chair since he was part of the Hart Foundation. So yeah, again, it's a classic WWE legend figure, legendary character. Obviously, he's dabbled in AEW. His brother Owen is now going to be used as the name. We all know the tragedy of Owen Hart. His name will now carry on in AEW with the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament that his family has agreed to allow them to use his name for. So AEW, once again here, even though we're talking about Bret Hart, and actually, if you didn't know this, I'm sure you do if you're an AEW fan, Bret Hart actually presented the first AEW championship belt and showed it at a pay-per-view, which pissed off a lot of WWE people from what I heard. But he came out there and he was on air for AEW presenting that belt for the first time. So thought that was pretty awesome. Four Feathers says, Ralphie with his BB gun. Four Feathers, you know what? It was a hard pill to swallow picking this guy up. He was $35. I don't recall what he was the first time he came out when he was first released back in the day. I had a gift card for $15 for my buddy Ben from our comic book exchange and figure exchange. So I figured, you know what? I'll use that 15. I'll knock it down to the 20. And even at 20, I was like, man, I don't know. This guy's awesome. I have a lot of the other cloth figures. Obviously, they're full size, but the legs are usually pretty wonky. Articulation in this guy's actually great. He can sit down if you want him to sit down. Head sculpt looks just like Ralphie Parker. The gun is great. He holds the gun well. The articulation of the hands and the arms is built so he can actually do some different things with it here. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this figure. I thought I had some buyer's remorse having picked it up, but at this point, I got to tell you, pretty happy I grabbed him. And I even said that a GF, this guy might stay out year round. All the rest of the Christmas figures or, horde figures around Halloween get packed back up and brought out as holiday decor. I think Ralphie's here to stay. He's kind of crazy eyes, which I like, which are awesome too. Midwest says that Bret Hart's a great fig. I think you enabled me on this one, dude. I'm pretty sure I didn't get it, and you told me I needed to, Midwest. So I think you enabled me on this one, which is fine. So thank you. Subliminal messaging. Forfeather says got that Bret Hart and Hogan from this wave. They're cool looking figures, man. Total nostalgia button. And J3 says Bret Hart also falls under AEW. Exactly, sir. Yes, that's the best part about having him, is that he technically was in all three companies at some point, right? Six packs, knickknacks in the house. What goes on? The Heart Dungeon. That's right. How you doing, Six Packs? What's up, sir? RL says, what's up, Four Feathers? NJ3 says, six pack, go buy the Simpsons arcade. Yes, you tell him, NJ3. Get on him, man. Six Packs says it's a great idea. Let's see the end result when I do it. RIP Six Packs. Mrs. Six Packs, not happy. I actually kidded around Mrs. Six Packs when Six Packs got hitched last year. Earlier this year, I should say, that I was going to buy it for them as a wedding gift. And if looks could kill, I think Mrs. Six Packs would have probably taken me out. As wonderful as a woman as she is, I love her. But she was not happy when I suggested it as an idea. Ralphie, too good. I agree. And NJ Tree says, just act like I had that already. I like that. I like that maneuver. All right, let's get this guy out of the packaging. There's a real quick close-up of how he's packaged. We have ties, twisty ties around both arms. And it looks like we actually have a twisty tie around the head because of the glasses, maybe, which is weird, I think. Yeah, I think they have one. I guess it's the inside of the packaging, yeah. So the twisty tie on the inside is over the glasses to keep them on in package. Good call, Mattel. I like that idea. So they're not falling off in packaging. But it also indicates the possibility that they are not going to stay there on their own to begin with, which kind of is a crappy thing to think about. But again, we're going to have that, right? All right, so let's see if I can get this guy out of here. Get these twisty ties off of him to make life a little bit easier for us to see. This is just screaming for me to knock something over by doing it this way, but we all know it's not a Disavowed live stream unless I knock something the hell over. So it's like a staple of the weekly show. All right, Bret, come on out, buddy. So he is coming out of the packaging relatively easily. I'm not going to mess with the hands tonight. I'm just going to leave them in there. I'll mess around with those on Instagram possibly later on. Get our chair out of the package. Make sure I don't forget about the hands. And is there a relevance to the chair, everybody, besides the fact that it's pink, which matches his motif? Did he use the chair to beat Stone Cold? Like, again, I don't know the background on the chair, unless it's just an accessory as a pack in. So as we said, the glasses will come off. They are removable. So first things first, let's take a closer look at that head sculpt. And it's pretty good. Looks like a young Bret Hart for sure. Definitely has that kind of smart ass grin that he had back in the day. The head, you're not going to get a lot of articulation here because of the hair in the back. So again, really, you're not getting much play at all out of the head articulation wise. These arms seem really tight. Are they supposed to only do this? So obviously the elbow joints go. But for those of you who have Bret, are his arms only supposed to go this far down? I mean, what the heck's that all about? I feel like that should go further, but I also feel as if it doesn't have the cut to do it. So let me know in the comments, everybody. Are his arms capable of going down to his sides? Because that, if not, that's pretty infuriating that that's all they're able to do. Oh, God. I don't like that at all. And this one won't even move. Okay, I got going a little bit there. Yeah, I don't like that if that's all his arms are going to do. So I guess he can do some poses. But, man, if that's all his arms are going to do, I am not a big fan of that. Feet down here, a little bit froze. He'll at least stand for us. So let's get the chair out of the way. Let's get him on the stand. See if he'll stay. And let's see if anybody here is giving me any kind of heads up on what's going on with the freaking arm situation here. Because I'm not a fan if that's all he's going to be able to do. That is not cool. Four Feather says, got my neck a holiday Misfits fiend as part of the holiday decor courtesy. Courtesy of his wife. That's awesome, Four Feathers. Six Pack says, I played that card too many times. Yeah, I guess you have. Four Feathers, that Crimson Ghost is part of my holiday display as well. Six Pack says, it's just being bold now. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody knows, but these arms are very frustrating. That's all he's going to be able to do is get them down to here. And as you can see what I'm talking about here, you can see that the articulation, the way it comes out on the side, doesn't seem like that will allow to have his arm go all the way straight down. It's just always going to be perpetually on an angle, which pisses me off because I know some other figures are like that too in other lines. I'm not a fan. But other than that, it looks good. And I don't do a lot of fig photography at all with my wrestlers. Here he is with the glasses on. The one good thing with the glasses going on here is the idea that they do tuck in behind his hair. So you're going to have a little bit of stability with the glasses once you get them on there. So that is the good thing with that. that again, it is going to basically sit on there a little bit better for you. But there's a good look at the boots. He has the star on the boots in the back. The tights are well done. One thing with Mattel, I can always say they do a good job with the tights. There's our bottom of the Hitman figure in the back. Get that to line up a little bit. Let's see here. Knee pads. The inside of the heart, of course, for Heart Foundation. Yeah, singlet looks pretty good. The paint looks clean. So overall, I'm happy with them. But again, the arm thing worries me, man. I'm not a fan if his arms are not going to be able to go down to the sides. And I feel like that's something that Mattel should fix. And if I'm wrong, hopefully somebody let me know as to what the story is with that. Sixpack says, can the figure spell out WCW with that limited range of motion? Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to give us anything like that, like he did to Vince. The chair was used in the match, but just WWE have blue color. Okay, so there's significance to the chair. That makes sense. That's a nice touch. It would be nice if some of these companies used a softer plastic or silicone for the hair for better articulation. Yeah, and I know when we get to our X-Force 3-pack here in a short amount of time, I know that that's going to be a big hiccup with that too, is with Richter. I did watch some reviews on this, which I don't always do before I unbox, but I know his hair is going to definitely be cumbersome for the articulation along with those shoulder pads. So yeah, with the hair on these figures, sometimes you're sacrificing a good-looking aesthetic for something that's going to affect the figure's actual articulation. By the way, cheers, everybody. Hope you had a good Christmas. All right, so there's our Bret Hart. So let's shuffle him off to the side for now, because we are moving on to opening up a figure I am super excited about, and I've been waiting for a long time, and that is It's Sting. I'm not going to get all into it here tonight. I'm not Jim Ross, right? Or, I'm sorry, Tony Schiavone. But yeah, here's our Sting figure. We did showcase this last week. We're not going to look at it rotate too many times because we talked about it a lot last week. I didn't intend to get this thing open because I didn't know if my second one, which was a gift from the girlfriend clause, would come in or not, and it did. So I have two now, and out of the two of them, this one looks to be the one I want to open the most. The box on this one has a little bit of wear and tear on it. It's not as minty as the other one is. I will point out, I didn't notice this last week, it also has like a purple pink hue on the trim going around the window of the packaging. So it's a very nice blue kind of color, reflective blue for the Luminary series. But I also really like the idea to get that pink and purple, which really makes that figure pop. So this is a great figure to keep on card and get one to rock and one to stock, if you get that chance. And also, I believe there's a Walmart exclusive, which I thought maybe it was just that this one came out early or whatever. But I guess the Walmart exclusive, I don't think he's wearing the jacket, and it's different packaging, I think. So I'll also be on the hook to get the Walmart exclusive because I'm a Sting fan for life. For life. NWO, right? We'll talk more about that later. Oh, there he goes. And they all fell. How about that? What do we say? It's not a Disavowed live stream unless something freaking falls over. I'm going to blame Bret Hart and the Montreal screw job for that one. That was not Farrell's problem or Farrell's fault, but limited issues on that one. So, Bret, you are getting sidelined over this way a little bit more in case you go to fall again. So let's get in this thing. Now, again, I'm going to be keeping one on card anyway. As much as it pains me to do this, there's the cross sell, by the way, which we talked about last week a lot. I heard this is a really great wave. Passing on him. I'll get him when I see him in big box. Although the face sculpt looks awesome on these two, on him especially, I'm passing on those. I don't need doubles of that team. I'll probably get her when I see her in store. And then there's Sting's awesome signature. So, okay, it hurts me to do this. Sorry, Sting. It's going to hurt me more than hell a lot more than it hurts you for me to do this. But I'm just going to rip this thing open. Oh, it hurts my soul to do this to you, Sting. I'm sorry. But we don't have time to mess around. When we're keeping one of you on card, that's the point of buying two, is so we can rip one out without having to be super uber worried about what will happen. So this is, again, tied in here pretty damn tightly. So be prepared. I'm going to try to use my little tool here, to be honest. I kind of would rather even use scissors on this because that sucker is really in there tight. I know you're not supposed to cut toward yourself, but this is just a little easy thing to use here, so I'm not too worried about hurting myself with it. All right, so that pretty easily popped off. I think that's the only one that I see. The bat's obviously taped in, so we'll get to that momentarily. It is a snug fit. They really have them tight in there, which is probably better off overall. And here is our baseball bat, because it's not a Sting figure unless you get your baseball bat with it. So let's get that tape out of the way. Tape is my kryptonite, as well as twisty ties. I guess anything that likes to fortify is an issue for me. All right, let's get that bat out of the way. And then Our alternate hands should just pop right out. I always think to myself, all the reviewers that actually review on YouTube, actually do real reviews, but they don't do them live, how it is a hell of a lot easier in regard to the fact you're not listening to them like struggle to get pieces out. Like right now, these hands are really in there, and I'm not dealing with it right now. So let's take a look at Sting up close and personal. And I will say right away, this Sting head sculpt is frigging amazing. This is Sting. No pun intended, right? I really like the head sculpt. The cheekbones, the chin, obviously the goatee here that's painted over. Even the hair, like the hair looks like old man Sting hair. You know, if you watch AEW, you know what I'm talking. That's always slicked. Not that it looks slick, but it just looks like his hair, which is kind of older guy hair. You know, it's not your typical Sting hair because he's gotten a little bit older in the old age. Here is the AEW Sting shirt. Some people have said they don't like the AEW logo being so large here. I love it because it's like, yo, guess what? I'm Sting and I'm in AEW. Obviously, we did the little bit of plastic here to protect the figure underneath. We'll get that off once you get the jacket off. Here is the bat. The bat is just basically a bat. It is what it is. It does what it's supposed to do. It looks like an adequate scale and size. There is an image of, I did see somebody say in a review that it almost looks like an aluminum bat. Like there's no wooden looking marks on here. And on top of that, as opposed to looking more like tape, this looks more kind of like that plastic that gets like wrapped around an aluminum bat. So maybe Sting has upgraded from the wooden bat over the years. Looking at the figure here on the turntable, as you can see, he does come with the ring attire as, I guess you can call it an accessory. It's a jacket. It does have some really cool buckles going down the side here, front here. Here we do get some really cool looking, like design, I guess you'd say here, or stitching, whatever you want to call it, on the jacket. We also got here on the sleeves as well. And of course, we get the well-known scorpion logo for Sting on the back of the jacket. We do have the alternate hand sitting there as well. Yes, it's a rubber jacket. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to really at all articulate him at all. But I feel like Sting is so synonymous with wearing a black trench coat or a black jacket. When he's posed in my display, he'll be wearing that. Obviously, if I want to do some poses with him, I'll have to take the jacket off in order to make that work. But that's the story there. Brian says girlfriend class. Yeah, the GF's Christmas gifts, right? Eric, what's going on? The Walmart exclusive Sting is supposed to have a different shirt design and face paint. Very cool. You know, now that you say that, I think I did notice the face paint was kind of thicker, like around his nose, like in his eyes. Jay Girk says, finally back, watch this video, but the two wouldn't recognize my account. Well, I'm glad it's working out. I love the live reviews, fresh out of the package. Thanks, Girk. AJ Tree says, crunchy plastic. And Four Feathers says, liking this Sting figure. I agree completely. So, all right, let's get him out of the jacket. We do have some comparisons to do with Sting. I did hear the jacket comes off relatively easily, so we're going to find out right now. Typically, I'll kind of bend arms back to get them out, but it won't really bend back because of the jacket. So let's get the jacket off here. Hopefully, yeah, it's coming off pretty easily. Yep, there we go. So it's a soft enough material that it will come off pretty easily. There we go. Got through pretty simply on that one. And let's see if we can get this plastic off here as well to get a better look at what we got going on underneath. Even though it is able to be seen through, we definitely do not want to have that in the way. Let's get that out of there. There we go. Comes off pretty easily. And here is our Sting. First of all, his arms go to his freaking sides, unlike Bret Hart. There's a better look at the shirt underneath. I did hear articulation. Unfortunately, is not going to be great with this guy. You're not going to be able to get any kind of real articulation at all out of the torso, which is a bummer. I'm not going to do it. I guess I can. It's kind of scared. I'm not going to do it. You can rip them apart at the waist like other AEW figures, and you'll see that the way this worked, it's a long sleeve shirt like he wears on the show. And I guess the shirt kind of like half covers up his back. And I guess they didn't complete the sculpt. So he kind of has like a half a butt. So that's not going to affect anything because the aesthetic makes it look fine. Wow, very smooth arm, shoulder joints. Holy cow, that is incredible. Double jointed elbows, of course, with the pins because we still have the pins going on. But again, there's our double jointed elbow, knees in the back, double jointed. Very nice. Knee pads. I do like how they have the textured kind of thigh pads here that Sting's also known for. On the back, we do get, again, the scorpion going there on his trunks. little bit coming off on his back here as well. We get some kind of, I guess you'd say it's like wrinkles in the shirt to make it look like it's a real shirt. One thing I saw in a review also was that with the hands, you can kind of see here with the hands, it looks like they just kind of painted like regular hands that have the tape over the hands, and then painted them all black. So you can kind of see here that if this was painted differently, it could be like skin tone for the fingers, and then you have the wrap, and then his wrist. Instead, probably just to kind of save money, which you have to do in toy lines, they painted the entire hand black, which is fine. Can't really notice it when you have it in hand, unless you kind of really look at those hands. You get two sorts of grip hands. One's kind of like a gun trigger hand, kind of like what Ortiz has on him. And then over here, more of just an open hand on the left side. So let's see if we can get the bat in the hand. I was told, I wasn't told. I saw in reviews that neither hand really holds the bat perfect. It's snug enough, it's not going to go anywhere. But it's also doesn't necessarily look like the best grip, but it's not going to fall. So here is Sting holding the bat. And I'll be honest, this is my first quote unquote new Sting figure. I was out of collecting when Sting's other figures came out. I do have a basic I'll compare it to here momentarily. Let's get the jacket out of the way. So here, over here on the side, for some comparisons, we do have a Sting basic, which 6-packs of knickknacks. Found at a bin for me down at the toy show, JB's toy show down in Lancaster, PA. So there's a good look at those two and comparing them and how they look with one another, sitting there on the rotating base. And I'm just looking at the carpet because I just dropped Hulk Hogan's glasses, which we're going to compare to in a moment, which I guess we're just going to have to take an L on that one because I am not seeing them down there, and I'm not going to dig around for too long, keeping an eye out for them. We'll find them later. So you can see here that the AEW Sting is bigger, but again, that's a basic. I think this came in a 2-pack with Triple H, if I remember correctly. So if you're curious where that one came from, I'm pretty sure that was the story with that and where that one came from for sure. But yeah, again, pretty good comparison-wise. Obviously, this is going to be a better figure because this one here is a basic. But there's a closer look at the paint. Obviously, this one's like a battle-tested. But again, basic figure. You're not going to get a whole lot of play out of that. So let's get Sting back up here. I did hear the ankle joints are rather loose, and I'll be honest, that is the case. The ankle joints definitely feel loose on him. So be careful, and I guarantee he's probably going to fall forward at some point here, as he does feel like those joints are very loose in the front. Of course, the other comparison we want to do is going to be our Jazz Wears Darby Allin, chilling with his dad Sting, as people like to say. His mentor, his manager, his protector in a lot of ways. So there is Sting on there with Darby. They do look great together, I will say. Sting, I believe that's a pretty adequate height difference between him and Darby. Sting is a big dude. He's a tall guy. And you can see when he's on air, he does tower above Darby. And Darby's a small guy, so really you have a hell of a contrast there. But those look great together. He will be replacing my basic Sting in my wrestling display for obvious reasons. But that is how those two look compared with one another. Let's get Darby out of the way, get him over here. And the one comparison I was really looking forward to, and I guess it's more of a face-off than a comparison, is, of course, the Hulk Hogan NWO for life here from the WWE Ultimates line. And I wanted to see how they basically stacked up. Again, for those of you who are bigger wrestling fans than I, you'll probably have a better idea of how these two match up regarding their heights. Obviously, looking at this here, you can see that Hogan is a couple inches, I would say, taller in scale than Sting is in this particular showdown here. I don't know if that's accurate. I know they're both big dudes. They're both your typical pro wrestlers when it comes to size. So I'm not really quite sure if that'd be accurate or not. But this just takes me right back to nostalgia of that WCW. And again, here's an example of a WWE Mattel fitting right into my kind of collection, because although Hogan will never be in AEW, I do like having those WCW figures as well. So I really like being able to have Sting stare him down like we are doing right here. So pretty pumped how this comes out. I'm going to be a big fan of these. And again, I will be doing a top 10 wrestling figure countdown for the first time here for 2021. It'll be all AEW and WWE. So keep that in mind that that's coming probably sooner rather than later this week for all my 2021 figures. So now let's get to the main event for the night, which is going to be our X-Force 3-pack. By the way, just found Hogan's glasses. They bounced all the way back behind me somehow. So we're going to have to be a little careful with this because this definitely will not fit on the rotating base, as you can imagine, being a 3-pack. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it down flat like so. I'll slide it over on camera so we can get all 3 figures. So again, this is a 3-pack. If you're wondering where I got it, no, this is not in a store. This is a Hasbro Pulse and Disney Shop Disney exclusive. So this was found for me again by friends down in Disney World. I also ordered this out in Disneyland for purchase out there as well. They limit to 2 per customer from what I've been told. There's signs all over the place. But we are getting, finally, our Cannonball Legs for Marvel's Cannonball. I never bought the other Cannonball because I didn't want it without legs. And everybody was so positive they'd eventually find a way to get us Cannonball with legs. So I'm glad I waited. Also, as a pack-in, we do get the explosion effect, since that is Cannonball's power to kind of explode and basically have the rocket underneath him. New head sculpt comes along with it. Alternate hands. We get Domino. This is a different Domino than we got in the, I think it was Sauron Deadpool wave. Don't have that one to compare, so I won't be doing it, obviously. It has the kind of weird headpiece, which I'm told that's comic accurate. They said in the comics it literally was like over her face in a weird way like this. Looks like it should be like lower, like below her chin. She comes with some obviously like Nerf futuristic looking guns. And then the big guy, I guess, in this 3-pack is Richter. He is the first figure, I believe, to be done of Richter. We do get alternate hands with him. He basically has like earthquake powers, for lack of a better way of putting it. But he is another core member of X-Force that we didn't have before. Also, when I was reading the current X-Men comics and over the last year, he was pretty prominent in the 10 of Swords storyline over at Excalibur, where it was like kind of an apocalypse comic, basically. It was like an apocalypse X-Men comic where Apocalypse is kind of working with the X-Men. It's kind of the whole idea of Krakoa for the X-Men comics. But there is Richter. On the back and the sides, we do get the trading cards, which I always love and enjoy to see those. We do not get a bio on the back for these this time around, but we do get the awesome version of the trading cards. I know I have Richter somewhere in my collection. I should have got it out for tonight. I don't think I had Cannonball and Domino. I definitely did not have this entire collection of cards. But again, on the sides, I'll kind of just tilt it this way. You can see we also get the cards there as well. Not going to try to squeeze that in on the camera. So before I rip this open, let's see if we got anything going on in the chat. And we will get ready to rip this open and start seeing what we got. Jay Gertz has loved this 3-pack. Thank you, sir. I agree. It's awesome. I am a lucky guy. I was very fortunate that friends hooked me up with an employee discount. So again, Melissa, if you happen to be watching this, thank you from Disavowed. Just picked up the Undertaker Ultimates. Awesome figure. That's cool, Scott. Undertaker, always a favorite of mine. Don't have any of his figures because, again, I'm not a huge wrestling collector. But if it shows up at AEW, I'll get it. Mine came to on Christmas Eve. I just ordered the previous week from Hasbro Pulse. Yes, Jerry. I did hear that Pulse is shipping them now. This started turning up, I think, as early as 3 weeks ago in the Disney parks. I just got hands on mine this past, would have been Thursday, the day before Christmas Eve, because, again, my friends drove it up to me. I figured, why have it mailed? I mean, I'm not going to get that many more views on YouTube if I have it like 3 days sooner. So held out to get it. Jay Gertz says, can't wait for Richter. Agreed. Richter looks pretty badass. Brian says, I have the first appearance comic of Domino. It looks common accurate. Cool, man. And that's an awesome, awesome book to have. That's definitely a key book to have in your collection, as you're aware. All right, let's get this guy out of here. These guys and gal out of here. Being a 3-pack, it's kind of hard to open up on camera. I do keep all of my Marvel Legends boxes unless I sell a figure or trade a figure or whatever, get rid of a figure. It's rare I get rid of my Marvel Legends boxes. This I'll definitely hang on to because I do like the artwork. There is tape on the top as well, so be careful. So when you're getting to the flap part, there's tape across the top of the flap and the middle where the little hook gets hooked in. So let's get these 3 out of here. There we go. And first of all, let's look at the inside. Not much going on inside the box. We just basically get an X logo. If you look closely, we do have, looks like maybe the trading cards or something. Yeah, we do have the trading cards kind of very faintly going across here as well. If you can kind of catch that, I'm not quite sure. So let's get that out of there. We keep in the packaging, as I said, and it's a great 3-pack. So here it is out of the box. That'll sit for itself for a moment. So there we go, without the plastic window in the front. And let's start off with Cannonball because I've never had Cannonball. And he does have the alternate head. I know that it might be old news to a lot of people. Obviously, it's the legs that are new for him. I'm happy at this point that I did not take the time and resources and money to buy the original, because all I'd be doing right now is comparing it and then saying I don't need it anymore. So thank you to Hasbro, because very cool that the Legends team still, despite giving us the legs, which we should have had the first time around, they did give us the blast effect again as well. So articulation basically on the arms. Yet again, another figure whose arms won't go to their side. This guy and Bret Hart are buddies because neither one of them, they're so jacked they can't get their arms down to the sides. Otherwise, the articulation on this guy is going to be the same as the other one. I'm sure you've seen videos on that already. This is a different paint job than the original. There are both head sculpts. Couldn't tell you, to be honest, which one was on the original figure. I'm going to guess this one. I think the one that's on the figure is the new head sculpt. I don't know which one I'll have. I guess if the blast effect's going, I'll use this head sculpt. But if he has legs attached, we'll just use his typical kind of just staring look. Other than that, typical Bucky cap legs, I'm pretty sure, on articulation. Pins are not colored the same on the inside. That always infuriates me. Why can't just paint them the color to match? I guess that's extra time to do it. Now, here we go. So this is what we got to do. This will twist off. There we go. And we have Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. That was in distaste. I apologize. So you can see here, basically, there's a peg, just like you can do with the AEW figures, to be honest. And that's how the legs will peg back in. Let's put his legs to the side. It looks really strange just seeing legs and a torso, but that's what we're going to rock for now anyway. Put that off to the side with the head sculpt. Can we do something really weird here and do like a, I don't know if that'll sit there now. Probably better off. All right, so here's our blast effect. It's the same blast effect, but different paint. So they did, in my estimation, from what I've seen, this looks better. This looks more like a blast off. The other one looked more just like fire underneath. So you get kind of the redder blast off down here, the orange glow, and then obviously the part right underneath him going on there as well. Andre says, really nice 3-pack, but Cannonball should just come with extra legs and explosive accessory originally. I completely agree. Jimmy says 705. It is usually on Wednesdays, Jimmy, but I have a lot of filming. I'm doing 4 different top 10 videos this week. So I wanted to get all the rest of my figures opened because I want to be able to include everything I wanted to in my top 10. So needless to say, I need to get the rest of my figures unboxed. And by the way, hello, sir. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so here is Cannonball. Here he is in the blast effect. So that isn't anything new. That is typically the same figure we had seen before. It's the legs that are the difference. But if you haven't seen how that worked, it just pops in with that that peg and that hole. Again, you could pop the heads on and off. So if you want to do a head swap to the other head, I'm pretty sure that this is the one it came with on the original, because it makes sense that he's kind of grimacing more and making more of a face there. So there, that's kind of what it looks like when he's blasting off. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. You can have the arms up in the air like he is blasting through something like this. I think it's pretty cool. His head does tilt. So if you wanted to do something where he's coming at you, like that's pretty cool right there, that he can literally look up as he's blasting toward the camera. But yeah, I will have the legs on him. If anything, because of the fact that that's like the bottom purpose of these, but also because it'll be easier to fit in my display. So that pops right back in. That's very easy to do. I was terrified at first to do it. Down here, we do have some, obviously, articulation at the boot cut on both sides. Double jointed knee, which you'd expect. We do have our typical feet. We have the rocker going on. It's a little bit stiff. There it goes. I'm not going to mess with the hinge this way, although it will go a little bit. I'm finding more and more that these hinges are always frozen on these. Maybe it's had bad luck. I don't know. But I am going to have the other head sculpt on Cannonball like this. Here we go. So that'll be Cannonball with my X-Force team on the shelf. And I'm guessing that the blast effect will just probably get boxed up or shelved or whatever. But there it is there. And again, there are alternate hands, which I did not dig out because they're really, actually, no, I'm sorry, it's this thing. So no, oh yeah, there are alternate hands. So alternate hands for him are in here as well. Or are those for Domino? I can't tell. Actually, the alternate hands are for Domino, so we'll leave those in there. So there it is, Cannonball, X-Force. Pretty pumped to have them. Took the long way around to get here, but I eventually got my hands on him, passing on that old one. But there he is. There is our Cannonball. All right, let's check out Domino next, keeping this thing moving for you. I know we want to get to Richter. So I also did not have a Domino in my collection, so really this pack was perfect for me because it gave me literally 3 more characters that I could add to my team. So here is Domino up close. Brian, thanks for the heads up on the fact that that's comet accurate with the piece over the mouth. Shoulder pads are actually connected to the shoulder. so they do not get in the way at all, which is great. Articulation out to the sides, if you're curious, goes all the way. I got a bit of smudge there on my shoulder pad. Face sculpt up close. Get the light on there for you. There we go. That gets your typical kind of smaller female body. Elbows are pinless. So we do have pinless elbows. From what I heard, this was the first figure that they announced would be pinless with the elbows. I think Riri Williams is the first to actually have the pinless from the Bear Wave, Build the Bear Wave. But there is our Domino. I did hear these legs always want to keep kind of coming back together, so she might fall as well. But there she is. And her different accessories. I mentioned she has 2 punching hands. She has kind of the 2 Nerf-looking guns here, futuristic-looking guns. Of course, we're not going to get any awesome guns with Legends anymore. Very rarely will we get that. They will really put these guns in there, though, like tight as hell. Here we go. All right, so there's our Domino. See how she'll hold the guns for us. They do have the trigger finger hands on. The punching hands are the alternate hands. The cool thing that I did see in other reviews is that the hand is actually going to be on the vertical articulation, so that's better for holding the gun to begin with. Then over here, same idea. Elbows are very similar to Lady J. Be careful, they're very small. Even though they're pinless, you may want to heat them up. This one's a little bit tight. I'm not going to screw it without heating it up. But definitely have to be careful putting those into articulation. And then let's get the gun in the hand over here as best we can. Get the finger around it. So again, cool figure. Not the reason I bought the pack, but it does help because it didn't have a Domino. So there is Domino. Again, there's those legs I was telling you about, wanting to bend in. We'll see if she stays. I don't know if she's going to. I did see, I think it was MCU Collector in his review for this pack, said that the feet and the legs are going to be difficult to get her to stand. If you're curious about sizing, there is the size difference between the two. She's actually kind of tall. You know, Cannonball is not much taller than her. Taking a look at them there. So that's pretty cool. Get her off to the side. I guarantee that that's probably going to fall. We'll deal with it if that's the case. Here's the other gun. I'm just going to get off to the side. Not really anything I'm excited about, but let's get Richter out of the packaging. So let's see what goes on here. Four Feather says this version of how Cannonball should have come. I agree, Four Feathers. Definitely should have been how he was originally packaged. I don't know if they were trying to be cute. I don't know if they just didn't think we cared or whatever. All right, so here is our Richter. He is the guy most people are looking forward to the most. Definitely a core X-Force member. We get the X here on the chest. This whole shoulder piece would pop off. This is all attached. So if you want to take the head sculpt off and take this off, you can. I'm not going to because don't ever need to. The boots are cool. They kind of like spikes. They actually are kind of sharp down here on the feet. There's his back. There's the butt. We have the tassels up here above the bicep going on. And I heard that the knees are actually part pinless and part pin. So they have one pin in the knees, but we still get our double jointed knee anyways. You can see boots and the knee pad kind of gets in the way a little bit when you're trying to articulate the knee all the way back. But again, he does have basically like earthquake powers is more or less what he's known for. So there he is. The blast effects we get for him are just our typical kind of like blast effects that you get with like, you know, Polaris or Magneto. It's kind of just like that bubbling effect, which, you know, it is what it is. It does the trick for what it's supposed to do. We do get the alternate hands with him as well. So the alternate hands are basically open hands, which I guess will work better when it comes to his powers being used. So they're both the same here. So those are the hands. So if you want to have him punching something, both punching hands are here on the figure. Arms do go to the side on each, which I'm happy about. We do get kind of like the finger, the gloves going on here. They cut off with the knuckle for each one. And again, the blast effects just go over the hands. I've never been a big fan of these. They take up a lot of space on the shelf, which I don't like. So I typically will not have these on my figures when I pose them. I probably have a whole bag of these laying around somewhere, to be perfectly honest, from the different figures that I have over the years that came with that. But there is our Richter. So very happy to have all three members of X-Force here. Still need a Feral, I believe, right? I think it's Feral we're still missing to complete this team pretty much. So hopefully Feral is coming down the pike as well. So here's our all three on the rotating base. We'll see if Domino plays ball here. There we go. If you pop her legs a little further apart, I would be careful doing that, though, because they could warp over time. That's happened to some of my other need figures. I think my Marvel Legends Hela MCU figure, the knees eventually got bowed, unfortunately. The whole time I've had the boss, Cable, sitting in the back here. So it's not X-Force without Cable, as we're all aware. So here is our Nathan Summers. And I don't know if we can get them all up here. I'll give it a shot and see if I can somehow balance this out to get all four up here. Probably going to be tough. He has very not good ankle strength on him either, which I never really like. He always wants to fall. Cannonball almost has bit it. If I get all four of them on here, we're going to call it a night because they will not last long. So as I'm getting these up, everybody, thanks for hanging out tonight for this impromptu episode of Life 705. Again, I went early this week because I want some time to shoot my top 10 videos. I'm going to do, again, 4 of them. It's going to be top 10 Marvel Legends, top 10 Marvel Legends Deluxe, top 10 wrestling figures, and then finally it's going to be our top 10 overall action figures. So that top 10 overall action figures will actually have some other random companies thrown in. Obviously, you have a pretty good idea where I sit. If you're curious about the Marvel Legends countdown, my goal is, the way I'm kind of setting up, is going to be to have the deluxe episode. The deluxe countdown will just have all of the Build-A-Figures, bigger figures, deluxe figures, things like that you couldn't get single carded. Then my regular Marvel Legends top 10 list is going to have all of the single card releases, or it might contain some basic figures, you know, kind of smaller figures that might have came in an exclusive pack. So I'm trying to be as fair as I can with that. Wrestling will be all AEW and WWE stuff. And then the top 10 will have a combination of those, as well as Diamond Select figures and maybe some Mythic Legions, things like that thrown in as well. So hope everybody had a great holiday, great Christmas. Hope you're having a great, restful holiday week, whether you celebrated Christmas or not. Obviously, New Year's coming here around the bend. So looking forward to that, getting these top 10 lists out to everybody, and just basically enjoying the holiday as we kind of continue through the holiday cycle here. So all the new Toy Hunt video coming out tomorrow night here on the channel. New Mo 2 was found. Obviously, I found Hitman Heart and some other things too. So keep an eye out. If you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications if you don't mind. Daily toy content over there at Instagram at Disavowed_12. Final chats of the night. Jerry says he had to get McFarlane Shriek for $8 on Amazon. That's a good call, dude. And that's a great, great find on the price point on that. Omega Weapon 13, what's going on, man? How are you, sir? I might have to pick them up later. Yeah, they are cool figures, dude. Thanks for stopping by. I'm sorry I didn't get to you till now. Brian says, what has been your favorite Legends figure recently? Oh man, I really like Cyber in the back here. I picked him up, just him loose on eBay. So recent acquisitions for me, I'd probably say Cyber is definitely up there on my list, since I did get him from that Amazon 5-pack. Eddie, what's going on? Says, I just want that Richter. Hopefully they'll single release. I hope so. If they do, I don't think it'll be for a while, unfortunately, because they're not going to want you to bypass buying a 3-pack with all these other figures in it. And Brian says, sorry, I'll have to wait for the videos. That's okay, man. That's okay. No worries. Ultron is definitely a figure I enjoyed a lot. I just opened him recently, despite him having him for a long time. But yeah, it's going to be fun doing these top 10 lists. I kind of have everything written up, but we'll get them recorded this week. So everybody, thank you so much once again for hanging out tonight. If you're new, do all the things if you don't mind. Leave a comment, hit the like button, all that jazz. But again, everybody, thank you so much for supporting the channel this year in 2021. I will not be talking to you live again until 2022. Oh, and by the way, it's been talked about already over there. The good sirs at the Infinity Equation podcast, Dante and Alex and Laserpants, Pew Pew, Ryan, have invited me on to the show, not this coming Friday, not New Year's Eve, the week after that. So I will be live on camera, in person, you know, over camera, with those guys from the Infinity Equation crew, counting down our top 10 action figures. So you can see my lists heading into that, but I'll tell you, things could change between when those lists are videoed, depending on what new figures come in. Because right now, I got a Dorkside order coming in with some Valiverse figures, among other things. So I will be on the Infinity Equation podcast a week from this Friday with those good sirs on camera, talking about plastic and the top 10 figures of 2021. So check out Infinity Equation, good group of guys, as you're aware, and I'll be with those dudes in 2 weeks. So thank you again, everybody. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing all of you at the pegs.